Well, hey Aaron, I just thought I'd do a video looking ahead into the new year, January 2013, talking about really the chance of some colder weather during the latter stages of January into February. Today looking at the stratosphere that I've mentioned before, which is the atmosphere way up in the higher latitudes of the atmosphere, really into, or not quite into space, but certainly a long way up from where we are here at sea level. And the stratosphere is where cold and warm air masses communicate with each other, and this video looks at the image here, as you see on the screen, from the North Pole and the Arctic regions, and it shows there deep blues and purples. Now this is not at our latitude, bear in mind, this is way up in the stratosphere. For our weather we look at the troposphere, which is what I'm going to talk about today, and so we'll begin the video for you now. Now this is showing, as I say, the blues and the purples. The purples is the extremely cold air, which we would never experience down here on Earth, because you wouldn't survive in this sort of temperature. And the yellow areas and the orange areas here, well, they indicate the stratosphere warming of the stratosphere. Now, just the pointers here, you can see Greenland, which is just here, and you can see this purple patch here, which is covering Iceland, just there, and the UK is just down here, so it's on the, well, it's like on the southern flank of the cold air. In actual fact, this is looking down from the Arctic, so this is looking above from the top of Earth. So what we're looking at here is for this orange and yellow area to expand. That's what's going to happen as we go through the first 2 weeks of January, as this warming begins to take place. Now, if I just scroll up here, you'll see there are times down here in 6-hour steps, as you see here. So 6 hours is this morning, and then midday is here. So if we run that on, and if I just bring this back down just slightly so you can see a little bit more in the picture there, if I just bring that up a little bit, there we go. Right, so as you can see, go down 6-hour steps. So I was going to scroll, we have to hover over these 6-hour intervals. So if I just scroll down, you will see that the blue images and the purples move around. You know, they increase there for a time, the purples there. Now as we go down here, and we'll keep going, and in fact if I just scroll up a little bit again, you'll see the date on the left hand side. This is the 31st of December there. Let's bring that back again, I think it's there it is. Right, so if we keep scrolling down, you will see that the blues tend to fragment slightly as we carry on going down. So we'll scroll down, so we're moving through the time zones here, 2nd of January, 3rd, 4th, and so on. We'll keep moving down, and you'll notice on the right hand side here, the orange is getting deeper there. So the warming is starting in the stratosphere. Good news for cold weather fans like myself this is, because as we scroll down you will see, just keep going, so we're going down towards the 4th, the 5th of January, and you can see the blue there is decreasing, and as we keep going, the orange and greens there, very important, orange and greens. Now if we click on the next following page here, that will take us through to the second week of January. So up to the 8th at the moment, at 7 o'clock in the evening local time. This is French, so it's local, there you go, local time, 7 o'clock. So as you can see now, how the warming has taken place. This is the polar vortex over here, and when we say polar vortex, this is the vortex that sets up in certain parts of the pole. This year, over the last 8 weeks or so, which has so much rain, because the polar vortex has been situated in this area here. Now what it does is it increases the pressure gradient between the Azores High, which is further down, outer screenshot here, and the colder air up to the north. Now this spins round the polar, causing the polar vortex, and it bottles all the cold air up inside the pole, so it doesn't allow the cold air to seep out of the pole, so it doesn't come down to the mid latitudes. Now this, bear in mind, let's look at the stratosphere here, not the troposphere. Now the troposphere is where this cold, the warm air would have to propagate down to the troposphere, where weather, i.e. high pressure and low pressure, develop. Now once you get the warming propagating down from the stratosphere to the troposphere, that warms the atmosphere up where high pressure develops and creates blocking, so high pressure. So we were looking for a blocking area of high pressure right across this region here. Now as you can see with this here, if this splits just there, then that's a good indication with these each side. This is the first stage of the warming, so we've got warming here and warming to the west here. If we carry on through these times here, let's keep going down a little bit more, we're probably going to end up somewhere around about the 10th of January at the moment. So if we keep going, we should get to the 11th and then the 12th. And you can see here now the joining of those yellows and greens. Now what we're looking at here is the split of the polar vortex, so it's splitting, and this is what we need, and this is the second phase of this warming. So even if the first, now we look at two stages. There's one stage which we see the warming starting to expand. If that gets down to the troposphere, that will create blocking, therefore colder weather will push south into our latitudes. If that fails on the first occasion, there is a second one, which is this one here in the second week of January, January the 12th there. They both may not come off, so it may not happen at all, but something to look at, and it's just interesting to have a look at it looking ahead. It's a long way out here obviously, but this is a trend, and this is one of the best forecast models there is to look at. So if we carry on going down, you will see there's the joinery between the yellows there. So that's now a classic setup. All we need for that now, and we will see a bit closer towards the time, whether this will drop down to the troposphere where weather that we get develops. So it's interesting to look at. I just thought I'd show you this, Aaron, because I know I've explained to you on the phone about this. It's very difficult to explain. You may not even understand it now, but if we just carry on going a little bit further, this goes up to 384 hours away, so it's a long way ahead. 15th of January is as far as we can go actually. 7 o'clock in the morning French time, 6 o'clock in the morning UK time, and you can see there is the warming of the polar region. So if we compare that and go back to the previous time where we are at the moment, you can see that in a space of half a month, this is where we are at midday today, 1 o'clock French time obviously, and you know you can pretty much see there that the polar vortex is very, very strong. And what this is causing, you see, is because obviously this goes round this way, is causing the jet stream, which is just represented by this line here, to give us all the wet weather we've had over the last few weeks. But that when that splits and we get a negative polar vortex, or if you like the north or the polar oscillation, or the North Atlantic oscillation, which is where low pressure develops and becomes stronger and weaker. When it becomes negative, that's when the warming takes place over the poles. So we have to have this for us to get any kind of wintry weather. Now it's not to say we're going to get any wintry weather from this, because obviously if it doesn't react with the troposphere, it won't happen. There's other elements of it, like the dew points that I went through with you before, and also the upper air temperatures. But this is a pretty classic example of a wintry weather type setting up with a blocking in the northern hemisphere. Now we're looking at this in stages here. So obviously you've got this 2-week period for the stratosphere to warm up. then you could probably say another 2 weeks for the troposphere to react with all of this and develop areas of high pressure and blocking. So you're looking, if there was to be a cold spell looking ahead, and we are looking at trends here, and I look at this every day, so if you look at this for the next 15 days and you still see the same pattern forming up until that 15th day, you can then start looking at the troposphere. But it's too early yet to look at that, because obviously we are looking probably about a month away here. So looking towards the end of January, beginning of February, if we were to get any wintry weather. But confidence is fairly high there at the moment. So just thought I'd show you how all that works with regards to the polar vortex. Now, let's get back to the generic charts. These are more familiar with most of us really. This is the pressure, low pressure and height pressure generic synoptic charts. And this is midday today, it's midday tomorrow. Look at the rain for tomorrow. There's rain on the way tomorrow. And obviously we've got plans for New Year apparently. So anyway, that's for another time, that one. But on to the weather. You can see low pressure represented by this T, this area of low pressure up to the northwest of the UK. We've got the jet stream running across here, represented by this black line. And these numbers here that cluster together represent a front. It's going to move across the UK tomorrow, bringing us wet and windy weather. Now it's going to move south and east tomorrow across the UK. So if you move on to the next step, which is 6 PM tomorrow evening, and you can see that the actual front there is across the southeast of the UK. Now it's going to slow down as it moves south tomorrow, so timing on this is not certain. So how quickly it moves away from the southeast, i.e. London, for the fireworks tomorrow night, good chance it'll move away in time, but there is a chance that it may linger and be some light rain perhaps left over maybe. But I'm confident it's going to move away by the time I get to midnight tomorrow night. So you can see there that the jet stream is wiggling across the Atlantic, diving south over here, just over across the Iberia Peninsula, and here you see the UK is under the green shading, so the cool unstable air above us is in the stratosphere and the troposphere. So the rainfall for tomorrow, this is midday tomorrow, 31st of December, and you can see we have this rain over much of the UK. It's heaviest down here in the southwest, which is usually the case. It's moving across the UK. These are showers represented coming in behind. And this out here really is showers for New Year's Day in the north and west really. It's not going to be much of a feature for the UK really, to be honest, particularly down here in the south. On to tomorrow evening, and there you see, as I said, there's that front straggled out across the south of the UK, taking a little time to move away, as I say, and of course the heaviest of the rain really is for northern France actually there, and the northwest of Spain just there. But this will give a 10-15 millimetres of rain across England and Wales tomorrow, but not as intense as we had before Christmas. And then looking ahead to New Year's Day, or it's actually New Year's Eve, midnight, so midnight New Year's Day if you like, and the rain has pretty much moved away from the south, and showers here coming into the western coast and the northwest here, which is standard stuff. You get a little trough coming in behind an area of low pressure as the air becomes unstable and cooler. So just finally, we're going to look at this next chart, which is the one that the Met Office use and BBC Weather Forecast use. This is the NOAA High Resolution Precipitation or Rain and Snowfall Forecast. Pink is represented by snow and the blue is representing the rainfall. This is midday, you can see there, Monday the 31st of December at midday, and the heaviest rain there is over Wales here, as you can see in the southwest, and parts of England here, East Anglia, London in the southeast, and the East Midlands and the West Midlands there, just coming into the rain. The rain's just beginning to move in. This is light rain here, fairly persistent, but light rain compared to what we've got over here. If we run the sequence on to here we go, 6 PM in the evening, and you can see there the rain is where, as I said, it will be right across the central southern England, southeast London, East Anglia, and there we are, our Norwich just there. So this forecast is giving a wet late afternoon and early evening here. Obviously, as I say, timing is subject to change. It may move through quicker, but this is a pretty accurate model. This is the one that the Met Office uses their Bible with. This is one that you always see on the BBC weather forecasts. They base their forecasts on this, the NAE model. If we move on a little bit further then onto midnight on New Year's Day starting here, and the rain's left, probably just over Essex there, and Essex and Suffolk perhaps seeing the last of the rain there, and expect the southeast to see the last of it there as well. And London here drying out, still a bit of dampness in the atmosphere, but that should have pushed away. If we go a little bit further ahead into New Year's Day, and it's completely moved away again. So New Year's Day morning, dawn's fairly bright and sunny and fresh, really. Quite a nice feel-good morning for New Year's Day to start the new year. And the trend into the new year, as I say, is drying out in those sort of first 7 to 10 days of January, certainly in the reliable time frame. Well, I'll wrap the video up for now there for you, and hope you've found that quite knowledgeable. Hopefully you didn't fall asleep halfway through it. 16.5 minutes worth of me babbling on there, but this is explaining the stratosphere and how the warming takes place and how it affects our weather in the troposphere, and obviously ultimately at the surface where of course we all live. So thank you for watching.